All right, before we get into more magic tricks, we need to address the elephant in the room. ChatGPT, Claude, Manus, Gemini, Copilot, Perplexity. What the hell is the difference? If you've been confused about which one to use, you're not alone. I was confused too until I joined Peter Swain's AI Mastermind. Today, we're going to clear that up for you, and then we're going to give you 5 magic tricks for the stuff you hate doing, like emails, scheduling, admin, the tedious crap that eats away your day. By the end of this episode, you're going to know which AI to use and how to make it do the boring stuff for you. I'm Joe Downs. With me is Peter Swain. We're just a couple of successful idiots. One of us stores people's stuff for a living. The other stores useless facts about British football. But together, our job is simple here, to show you how to think about AI and how to use some of the AI tools to put more horsepower behind your small business hustle, or help you start one. Peter, let's step inside the Hustle app. But quick thing before we get too comfy. We got some really great feedback after the first episode. And honestly, it wasn't the amount of feedback. It was what people said that was overwhelmingly positive. They told us we made AI feel approachable. We slowed it down for them. We gave them a reason to actually want to use it more and try it more. So that's, believe it or not, exactly what we set out to do here. So I don't know why I'm so surprised. But I just want to say cheerio to you, Peter. Job well done, sir. You are one step closer to knighthood. Allow me to raise a cardboard cup of American tea to you, aka coffee, and let's try to live up to that here again today. So, Peter, I have to actually be honest with our listener here. Before I joined your mastermind, I was totally lost in all this, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. I didn't know which one to use or why. And I think a lot more people are in the same boat I was, and they want to use AI, but they're stuck on step 1, which is, which one do I even open and why? And then which version should I pay for? And if so, what level? I mean, admittedly, it's a lot at first. So as an AI guru, what do you have to say for yourself? Why'd you guys have to make this so daunting and confusing?
Well, as I take ownership of the entire industry, well, I think it's like trying to catch a moving train. I do this full time. It's all I do. I love doing what I do. I try and understand AI 24/7, 365, and I can't keep up. So I would expect the average person to be hideously overwhelmed. The only problem with that is this isn't something you can actually afford to ignore. So it's not like you can go, I'm completely overwhelmed, I'm out. Even by listening, you're kind of going, I'm completely overwhelmed and I understand I need to figure this out. So for those that don't know, what Joe's referring to is the LLMs, which stands for Large Language Models. You don't need to understand what they mean. You just need to know that they exist. The main ones on the market, number one that you'll have heard of is ChatGPT by a company called OpenAI. The second largest on the market is Claude. Then you have Gemini. You said Manus is kind of a bit of fringe, so let's keep that on the side for the moment. Then Microsoft have the embedded version, which is called Copilot. And then you've got Grok. Now, the 3 main ones that we need to refer to, that we need for everyone listening to this and for you and I, is ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. They're the 3 we need to pay attention to.
Why those 3? And I completely left out Grok. Sorry, Elon. That was by mistake.
Yeah, don't upset Elon. That's not a good life choice.
But why those 3?
They're the most mature in terms of their overall capabilities.
But what? So break that down. What does that mean? Like, what does more mature mean, or break down the capabilities? You know how dumb I am. So
yeah. So a good way to think about it is like you're employing a person, right? And if you employ somebody in your company that's a generalist. So you're not employing like a dedicated CFO or a dedicated CMO. You're looking for how smart and how adaptable are you. Those 3 fit that box. They are the smartest and most adaptable out there. They've been around for the longest in terms of customer facing. They've all been around for around 2-3 years. So a lot of the kinks and a lot of the issues have been worked out. So all 3 of those are going to be a very solid starting point for anyone to achieve roughly anything they want to achieve that we're going to discuss.
So it almost doesn't matter if I start with Chat, Claude, or Gemini. It's just different strokes for different folks, or are there distinct differences between them?
There are some differences, but the differences pale into how important it is that you feel comfortable. Because if anyone listened to our previous episodes, what they're going to have heard is that we're trying to help you have a conversation. And what's important when you're having a conversation is the other party in the conversation is also trying to have a conversation with you. So my recommendation, it might sound silly, is just literally to have a coffee date with all of them. So 9 o'clock in the morning for the next 4 or 5 days, have a 15-minute chat with ChatGPT, a 15-minute chat with Claude, a 15-minute chat with Gemini. If you like a bit more of a dystopian contrarian view, then add Grok in the mix as well.
So you want me to date my AI? Didn't they do a movie about that?
I mean, it's a little bit anthropomorphic, or however you say that word, but yeah, I essentially want you to say, okay, at the end of the week, I'm willing to bet that one of them will have a clear winner for you, that one of them you'll vibe with, one of them you'll feel the conversation was natural and free-flowing and easy, and another one of them you'll go, that was hard because it took everything semantically or literally, or it was too sycophantic or whatever it might be. So yeah, if you speak to each one for 15 minutes, you're going to come away and go, oh, I really like X.
Okay.
And not X as in X.com as in Grok as in X as in insert blanket.
That does get confusing. I refuse to call it that. I still call it Twitter X.
Twitter X. You just put the two together, not even just Twitter.
Yeah, well, because then there's no confusion, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I don't know why, as brilliant as he is, I don't know why he had to do that. So okay, so in my experience, so I'm going to speak for the listener here. I'm using, and you chastise me for saying Manus, but I'm using a lot of chat, a lot of Claude, so a decent amount of Manus for work.
Mm-hmm.
We could cover that in another episode, and I've played around with Gemini because we're a Google organization, my small company, but we're all on Google. I find you nailed it. I find them to be a little different, but my interpretation is that chat seems to be like the Swiss Army knife. Claude seems to be more, this is just my opinion, Claude seems to be more thorough, maybe, when I'm asking it for help or research to co-create something. And Gemini can't really figure out what it is. It seems to be more like, I don't know, graphics oriented. I know it answers questions like they all do, just like Perplexity does, which I never use anymore. It was one of the first ones I started using. But am I off base there?
No. I think so. I think you're wildly on track. Now, what I'd add as another layer on top is ChatGPT. All of these depend on the versions, which is where it gets so overwhelming because
and then you add in versions. What are you guys doing? Give us a minute with a version before you change it. And they don't just change like, hey, we added this feature. It's like, no, we're totally different now.
Yeah. And then the next day, somebody else is totally different. So it was literally last week, ChatGPT topped the benchmarks for 18 hours.
What does that even mean?
So they have these tests of like, how smart are they? How literal are they? How much do they hallucinate, aka not tell the truth? And they re-rank them every time. So anyway, so ChatGPT, the issue with it is it's insanely semantical. So if you say, keep asking me questions until you fully understand the subject, right? Something like that. Which you would say to another human, hey, Joe, I need your help with XYZ. Keep asking me questions until you fully understand the subject. You're like, okay. Now, the problem with that sentence is you can't fully understand the subject. It's impossible to fully understand a subject. You would have to study for the whole of your life, and even at the whole of your life, there would still be information you don't know around that subject. You, Joe Downs, understand what I mean by that. You understand that I mean keep asking me until you've reached a satisfactory level of a burden of proof where you have all the facts you need in order to make an estimated, accurate assumption. Something along those lines. Someone can linguistically correct me. What ChatGPT will do as of version 5.1 is keep asking you questions. It will not stop. It will keep asking questions because it will take you literally and say, okay, now I don't think that's really a problem for 90% of people because they don't have as deeper conversations as I will have. So ChatGPT, when you say it's the Swiss Army knife, I would agree. Projects, custom instructions, there's lots of different ways to use it. People understand it.
The GPTs themselves, which
the GPTs themselves, I would go there for 90% of people. If I had to like blind taste test, I'd say ChatGPT is your go-to. Because the other side to this is when I was back in the web in mid-90s and we built Yelp, people used to ask me, should I use Google or should I use Yahoo? Actually, it was Infobot or Lycos, but anyway, and Ask Jeeves, remember that?
I don't remember the other two, but yeah.
Yeah, they were before Google and before Yahoo. But people used to come and say, should I use Google or Yahoo? And my answer was always, which one are you using right now? And they go, neither. I'm like, then it doesn't really matter. Like, your 0 to 1 of this journey is going from not using AI to using AI. So the advantages of Claude versus Grok, or Grok versus Gemini, or Gemini versus ChatGPT, that's going to come a few months later in your journey.
I got to tell you, it feels a little bit like, just, and again, I'm speaking for, I think, the listener. It feels a little bit like, the car companies where it's like, well, we can go to 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Well, this year, this model Porsche can do it in 3.6. It's like, well, who cares? I'm just trying to get to the grocery store, right? Like,
perfect example. When I went to when we had our second child, we had to go and buy one of the, mum wagons. And I said to the guy that in the VW showroom, I'm like, why would I buy this, not a Land Rover? And he went, you're either going to buy it or you're not. I'm like, what? And he's like, I was expecting a sales pitch here. And he's like, listen, the safety rating, the NCAP safety ratings for every single car now is like 5 out of 5. The fuel consumption is basically the same, maybe plus minus 30 miles per gallon. The speeds are roughly the same. The cup holders are roughly the same. They're made of the same upholstery. You're either a VW guy or you're a Land Rover guy. So either buy the car or don't buy the car, but don't make me try and tell you why it's better than a Land Rover, because it's not. It's just different.
I gotta tell you, some of those Kias on the road today. It's like, oh, is that a Mercedes? Nope, it's a Kia.
Yeah. So I think it's the same, which is why I said I love this idea of just take it out on a 15-minute coffee date, and whichever one you come back and say, Claude spoke to me, it felt right, it felt good. Great, awesome. That's the answer. And if the answer is Grok, okay, so you're a conspiracy theorist, but great, awesome. That's the answer.
Well, we're going to unpack that in another episode, because I don't even know what you mean, but I think I do. But all right, we got to jump into some. We promised some magic tricks, some parlor tricks, as you like to say, across the pond. Let's start with an easy one. Email, the bane of every entrepreneur's existence. We all spend too much time in our inbox. Give me some low-hanging fruit AI tricks for email.
Super simple. Copy and paste the email, open up. For the rest of this conversation, let's just, for ease, let's just say ChatGPT. But if you've done the coffee dates and you've decided, Claude, just insert blank here, right? Okay. So open up ChatGPT, paste in the email, and tell it what you want to reply with in your language. So just say, hey, chat, this is an email I just received. I want to tell them that I need to delay payment for 10 days. They're a good supplier, so don't piss them off. Go. Copy, paste, send email. Thanks very much.
Okay. And any other tricks?
You could paste in the whole thread, like all of the replies, and say, is there anything I should watch out for here? Is there anything that I'm missing? What are the 3 things that you understand from this thread of conversation that I don't understand? That's often quite interesting.
You want to hear how I use it? Want to be proud of me for a second?
I'm always proud of you, but go on, tell me.
So I used it. So I'm in self-storage, and I'm making an offer to a self-storage seller, and the offer is going to be $300,000-$400,000 less than what they would ideally like for the facility. So, not going to go well without a little assistance. So when I talk to them, I record. So I have a transcript of the conversation, and it has all the qualitative, of course, all the information they give me about the facility, but also all the qualitative information. What are they going to do when they sell it? They're going to, crisscross the country on motorcycle, whatever they're going to do, whatever has nothing to do with the facility is in that conversation. And I take that plus our underwriting, our letter of intent, and I load it into ChatGPT even, and I say, look. And this is where, if you could speak to this too, where because you taught me this trick, I just ramble and I just tell it, I got to send this offer to the seller. It's going to be $400,000. It's $1 million acquisition. I'm offering 605. He's not going to be happy, but I want him to be happy when he opens this email. And by the way, Peter, you'll be even more proud. We created a GPT in our company for this. Not only the first time I didn't, I just asked it to do this, but then I got smart and said, well, I'm not going to prompt it every time. I want instructions, because in my instructions were things like, I want you to use the IUE principle. I want you to use the Pekin principle, Viktor Frankl, fear, logic, and identity shift, all these principles in whatever way is applicable to do in an email. So now that's part of the GPT, but on this first time, I actually prompted it to say all that. And I gave it the transcript of our call and the LOI and said, go. And you know how I knew it worked the first time? It was I got rejected, but the rejection said, I respectfully decline your offer. And I went, oh my gosh, it works. Because normally I'd be ghosted or, screw you, or some sort of colorful language back. And I got none of that. And then the 2 or 3 times after that, I'm actually under contract.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's incredible. So can you tell me, just color? I think we talked about it in prior week, but the rambling part, just give me some color on that.
Well, there's 2 big things that you said there that I'd like to touch on. One is the ramble of just speak, just give it as many things as you can, give it all the background you can, give it anything that may or may not be relevant. Just go. Don't limit yourself and just let your thoughts come out. But the second thing, and you did both here, which is, so I am definitely proud of you. The second thing is always state your mission. So, for example, we're putting together a personalized learning plan for people at the moment, and we weren't getting results, or somebody on my team wasn't getting results because they gave it the primary mission, but they didn't give it the secondary mission. So the primary mission is to give somebody a 12-week learning plan that can increase their revenue by 20% and decrease the time they spend by 20%. But the secondary mission is that they can't blame us if they don't succeed, if they didn't follow the steps. So it kept adding in accountability calls, accountability check-ins, go, no go zones, which would be the right thing to give somebody this 12-week result. But it's the wrong thing because we're taking responsibility for that result. We don't want to take responsibility for that result. We want to say, hey, Bob, here's everything you need to do. Go and do it. And if they don't do it, one of the underlying principles of my company is adults have to adult. It's not up to us to chase other adults telling them how to be an adult. If you've bought the thing, do the thing. So I use that as another example because what you did so well there was you didn't just say, he wants $1 million, I'm offering 6.5, make the offer. You gave the AI the background context that it would normally miss because we understand that as humans. If you told me, hey, Pete, I'm running really late. I'm going up to see my grandma. She's in hospital. Can you tell this guy he wants $1 million? Can you tell me he wants 5? I would automatically know that you don't want me to upset him. You would just need to tell me this was the amount. This is what I'm offering. This is the justification for that. And then you could hang up the phone and I might not do a great job, but I wouldn't do a terrible job. That's what AI misses. And that's why people often get disenfranchised when they pick things up, is they don't understand the context you have to give it. And
yeah, the human connection, the knowing that, yeah, you can present that information, but you need to do it in a certain way because, not even being in self-storage, that making a $600,000 offer and $1 million anticipated offer is going to be wildly upsetting or weird or, whatever. So yeah, you're right. We have to, and you taught me that, you got to provide it the context. So very cool. All right. We got to keep moving. I love this, but we owe 4 more tricks, I think. So we got to keep moving here. So emails are one thing. How about all the admin crap that we deal with, scheduling, planning, organizing? What's some low-hanging fruit there? How do we use AI there?
I mean, this one's really simple, and I'm going to introduce a new context for people, which is, I did this today on the train. Take a picture of your schedule for the week. Take a picture of your to-do list, which if you handwrite it, that's fine.
Really? Pictures?
Yeah. Upload it to AI and say, figure this shit out.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm not using that clearly, so still more to learn.
Like literally, you can just take a screenshot of, put your calendar on a week view and take a screenshot of it, and away we go. We don't even need to type out what you're doing on what days.
Okay. Wow. All right. I'm going to give that a try. And so wait, so take the picture of the to-do list, handwritten. Yeah, I just got the approval for that. Picture of my calendar, right into chat, upload them to chat and say, help.
Does this week work? What would you do first? What do you think I can get to? Is there anything that I'm going to screw up at?
Sticking with prompting and context, should you then say, tell it to ask me the questions of what is most important and what is, non-negotiable and what could be pushed to next week and how to plan better, or stuff like, I don't know what the right.
It really depends what you're trying to achieve. The way that I would probably do it is I would say something like, I'm about to upload a screenshot of my to-do list and I'm about to upload a screenshot of my calendar. Before I do that, ask me 10 questions to work out what it is I'm trying to achieve and what it is that's important to me.
So that's why you get to the big bucks. So that's a better way to say it. All right.
But you want to do it that way around. You don't want to upload it first and then ask the questions. You want to ask the questions and then do the upload. That's really important.
Well, why is that?
Because if you upload it first, it will start making assumptions around what it thinks it knows before it actually ask you the questions.
Well, all right, now I need to unpack this. So then if it starts making assumptions and then I tell it what I'm looking for, does that override the assumptions, or are those assumptions now
You're
baked
going to
in?
fight against them.
I'm going to fight it. Oh, that's
You'll be like,
interesting.
come
So
on.
the order of the prompt matters. I didn't know that. Okay.
So you want to start with the most blank page possible. So if you imagine that I said to you, hey, I want your help launching a best-selling book. Imagine you're a book marketer for a second. No, let's stay in storage. Imagine I told you I need help selecting the right storage unit for my stuff. And I sent you a picture of the storage unit I currently have. Okay. The first thing you do is go, well, that's not going to work. That's not this, not that. Where is it? Tell me about what state's it. And I'm like, no. I just need you to help me work out what I need. This is the one I'm canceling. Even if as soon as I told you it's cancelled, you're already locked into, well, he got 14, 3 cubic meters. Why did he get 3? I think he needs 8. Whereas you may have come up with 12 if I gave you nothing to begin with.
Yeah, interesting. I think
Even humans do the same thing.
I think I've suffered through this already, and I'm having PTSD with some prompts now. Now that you're putting it that way.
You start by asking it to ask you questions and tell it what you're going to give it. This is something I do regularly. Like, hey, I need your help writing a proposal for a retainer for XYZ. I'm going to upload for you a background research file on this, a sample of a proposal I've already sent, and my master services agreement. But I'm only going to do that once you tell me you're ready to receive it because you understand what we're doing. So now is your time to ask me whatever questions you want, and then I'll drop these things in at the end.
Wow. All right.
Massively different results.
How about, I have used this. I'm going to let you describe it. Prepping for a meeting. What's the best way to use AI?
So I normally, because all of my meetings are recorded, so I'll normally just take the last 3, if it's a new meeting, if it's a meeting with somebody I've met with before, I'll just take the last 3 transcripts, put it up and say, I'm about to meet again. This is what I'm trying to achieve. What do you see that I don't see?
Okay.
If it's a new meeting, I might take a screenshot of their LinkedIn profile, because most of the AIs can't scrape LinkedIn. LinkedIn has stopped that, but you can just take the screenshot, as we said before, and just upload the screenshot. Say, I'm about to meet this person. Anything I should know? Anything interesting? Any red flags? Away we go.
All right. I like it.
The screenshot thing is really useful little
Apparently I need to be screenshotting some more. How about AI as a personal assistant, even for your personal life?
A couple of months ago, welcome to AI. A couple of months ago, I got offered the opportunity to watch my daughter play soccer, and I didn't realize it was important to her because it's not, let's say it's not a natural skill for her. Let's put it that way. So I didn't think she cared, but she was like, she turned around and said, I really wish you could come and see me play. I'm like, oh, this actually matters. Oops, mistake. And I think parents, we kind of do these things all the time. We're like, oh, I didn't really understand this. So I opened up ChatGPT and said, hey, ChatGPT, here's my schedule. Here's my to-do list. I now have the opportunity to watch my daughter play soccer, which is going to take 3 hours out of my day. I still want to achieve everything that I said I was going to achieve today. Make it happen. Make it work. Find the wins. And we went through the list, and Chat went, I think you can delegate this. I think you can delegate this. Why are you even doing this? I'm like, what? She's like, why are you even doing this? This doesn't match our stated objectives. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be doing this at all. This meeting, that person can handle. So we ended up getting more done than we were supposed to get done. And I went and watched Olivia play soccer for the day.
Amazing.
Play is a big term. Stand on a soccer field whilst a ball was kicked around.
I will tell you, I can't get into too much because it's a legal dispute having to do with a home renovation, but in going back and forth with our attorney, and, look, not my field, right? The law, I deal with a fair amount of it. I touch it. I'm on the phone with attorneys all the time because I'm in self-storage and, other business, but your home, your personal stuff, So I don't know how it works with, dealing with the contractor. So we took everything, my wife and I put together everything we went through, the nightmare, the saga, the this, the that, and we loaded it into Claude, I think. And I said, ask me all the questions you should be asking me to prepare me for my meeting with my attorney, because I need to prepare him to go meet with the insurance company on the other side, whatever. And the questions it asked me to ask him was incredible. No idea. I had no idea. And it took what was a painstaking, horrible process. It still is, but it just simplified this portion of it for us. I think we're going for much more of a settlement than than we otherwise would have. It's so incredibly powerful. And all right, so Peter, let's land this thing here today. Thank you. I think you cleared up a lot of the AI confusion that's out there for most. I think the message I'm taking away, if I'm listening to this, is just start with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. It sounds weird to say, but take them on a coffee date. Pick one of the 5 magic tricks or AI hacks or parlor tricks or whatever, however you want to refer to them, whether that's, replying to an email or translating the rambling weekly planner, meeting prep, personal assistant. I think here's the shift, Peter. Before the episode, I think AI felt like this special occasion tool that was not approachable or intimidating. How should people feel after listening to this episode?
I would like them to get closer to a second skin. And when people invest the small amounts of time that this takes, there's a reason that people are having relationships with AI. Now, I think that's a little bit too far and like a little bit wackadoo, but very soon people will start talking about he or she instead of it. And because you develop a relationship with your AI, and you start getting crazy, unparalleled results. Like I just finished a meeting in London. I've got an hour and 20-minute train back. On the train, opened up my laptop, dropped in the transcript and said, I need you to write the thank you email to the person for me, and I need you to understand my to-do items that I just agreed on, put those into Todoist for me, and send the email to them. Thanks very much. Before the train had left the station, the email has gone, my to-do list is full, and it said, hang on a second, you said you wanted to meet with someone on your team. Looking at your calendar, we have this slot or this slot free. Which one do you prefer? Before we left the station, that's an hour and a half's worth of work.
That's incredible.
That's what I really want to gift people back, because what I did for an hour and a half was relax instead of writing a bunch of stuff that had to be done. So I want people to get their time back so that they can watch the kids play soccer and still make the revenue and still have the impact and make the money. So hopefully it feels a little bit more friendly by the end of this.
I love it. That's incredible. And I just picked up on something else you're doing there, using Todoist, which I've looked at. All right. Homework, folks, pick one. Just try it. If you got an email you've been avoiding, try the reply trick. If you got a frustrating call to make, use the personal assistant trick, or do what Peter just said. How can you use an AI assistant to manage your calendar, manage your day, set up appointments, etc. Peter, what are we going to talk about next week? What are we looking at?
Well, I think we're looking at some more magic tricks, but specifically, how do we make you sound like a genius? How do we make it so you walk in a room and you're like, boom, you're the guy or the girl?
I love it. We're just a bunch of successful idiots making things possible for people. It sounds like to me. I don't know. All right. If you got something out of this, hit the like button. We're not above asking. Even idiots need some dopamine here and there. Make sure you subscribe. The reason is for you, so you don't miss our drops when we drop the next episode, because according to Peter, we're going to make you sound like a genius next week. Here's the thing about sharing, though. Don't share this until you've actually used one of the magic tricks. Send the email with AI's help, make a call with the script AI wrote for you, knock out that thing you've been avoiding, do something, then share it with someone in your life who's drowning in admin, or the coworker who's behind an email. We've all got the family member who's been putting off, adopting AI or using it for some personal reasons. You know who they are. When you share after you've done it, you're not just recommending a podcast, you're actually handing them a solution to something you've already tested and used. So that's worth sharing. All right. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week.